Hi everybody, welcome to Charlie and me, our camping vlog. This is a camping vlog video with a different. We're not looking at products. We're not reviewing a campsite, and that's why it's on a Wednesday. Charlie and me got invited up to Limavady in Northern Ireland to the Steinbeck Literary Festival, which happens every year. In fact, it's happened for
5 years.
This is the fifth year.
Yeah.
But this is the first year we've been invited. And each year they have a theme, and the theme this year is called The Journey. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Paul Campbell from the committee, and Paul is going to tell us about John Steinbeck, the author. Now, of what I know of him is he wrote a book called Travel with Charlie. You can see it there. Travels with Charlie was where he decided to, himself and his dog, went around America in a camper van. Hey ho, what do we do? I go around Ireland in a camper van. So the guys put two and two together and said, well, look, it's the journey. Could Charlie and me come up? We're going to meet people in this cafe, and we're going to do a behind the scenes video of some of the talkers that are going to be in the Civic Centre later on today. So that's what this is about. So Paul, basically, first of all, you're saying that the festival's going 5 years. Who is, for those who don't know, John Steinbeck?
John Steinbeck is probably one of the most important literary figures in literature in general, and American literature in particular.
Now, he's from the 50s and 60s.
50s and 60s. He won the Pulitzer Prize for The Grapes of Wrath.
Oh, right.
And he was Nobel laureate near the end of his career. He had a comparatively short life, lived to 66. Most people will know him from their school days because his two works, The Grapes of Wrath and Of Mice and Men, have been part of the school curriculum in every English-speaking country in the last 60 years. And unbeknownst to us, he actually had a very, very close connection. I was
going to say, so he's American, born and bred.
Yes.
Why are we celebrating him?
Well, like many Americans, he had Irish descent.
Yeah, like all Americans.
Yes. through his mother. His mother was actually a Hamilton. Okay. And the Hamiltons are from Ballykelly originally, a townland called Mulcaira, about 3 miles from here. And John Steinbeck had heard stories about his Irish heritage the whole way through his life from his father and his grandfather. And in 1952, him and his wife Elaine struck out on a tour of Ireland.
Okay.
And now it didn't go well initially. The reality, the sort of harsh reality of Ireland in the 50s was very different from the sort of romanticised folklore that had been told in America. Yes. And in fact, there's a well-known story that he very nearly gave up his trip in terms of coming to Ballykelly when he reached Derry. He reached Derry on a Sunday, and he was housed in a local hotel in Derry. And of course, he enjoyed a drink, like many literary figures, and he couldn't get a drink in Derry on a Sunday. And his wife had to convince him to travel the last 18 miles the next day to actually come to Ballykelly.
And not for a pint, just to say, look, we're here. Let's continue our travels and let's do a bit of ancestry. Yes. Yeah. So what happened when he got to Ballykelly?
He drove through Ballykelly and didn't realize, because he'd been told that it was a town, and came to Limavady here and had to head back. And luckily, he went to the Presbyterian church there, and he found his family gravesite.
Oh, brilliant! Okay.
And the local caretaker of the church, a gentleman called Bob Campbell, spent the afternoon with him and told him where the Mulcaira was behind the church. And a very, very well-known story that he actually gave him a red rose from the graveyard. And Steinbeck took that red rose and dried it. And it was a theme throughout his work after that.
Wow. And this was before the Travels of Charlie. This is when he was a young writer. Yes. And then, so the Travels of Charlie book then is, he decided, I know it was close to the end of his life, wasn't it? He decided, we're going to travel.
Went in the camper van and travelled throughout America with his large chocolate poodle dog.
Yes.
And and he loved the everyday man and woman. Was his subject matter, and travel and journey. And our theme this year
is journey.
So
let's talk about the theme. This is the 5th year, as you say. Yeah. Today we're just going. It started last week. The festival.
Yes.
It's on this week, and it concludes next weekend, Monday of next weekend.
The Monday we're actually
we're here.
Travels with Charlie here.
Oh, that's that actual book. Now, I had said to you, I haven't seen the movie. I'll wait till the movie comes out, but I'm actually going to get a copy of the book, and I am going to read it because you came about because you watched Charlie and me videos, and you put it to the committee. We've got a guy in Ireland doing this. Yeah. Let's see if we can get him up, and myself and Charlie are going to sit in there a wee bit later on. And if people come along, we're going to have a chat. We're going to just talk about our travels, my travels with Charlie. So tell me about the itinerary for today. We're in the Civic Hall.
In the Civic Centre here.
It kicks off at 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock, we have 4 speakers. We have a gentleman called Matt McGinn, who's a very well-known singer-songwriter in the sort of Woody Guthrie style from Belfast. He's going to be playing throughout the event. We have Linda Cohen, who's a Queen's University lecturer. She's going to be doing a talk on the Grapes of Wrath.
Oh, which is one of his would that be his best?
Probably his best.
Best well-known?
Well-known.
Yeah,
well
and mainly because of the school curriculum.
Another book people are very familiar with through movies is East of Eden. He wrote East of Eden, James.
Did he write that?
Yeah.
I've seen the movie.
And
then we've other talks.
And we're actually linking in live to California.
What time is that at today?
That'll be about 2 o'clock.
The time difference there.
To the Steinbeck Center in California.
Right.
And we're working very closely with them.
Brilliant.
And this is the first time we've had the live link.
Right. So. Now, one of the ideas of Charlie and me covering this is we want you guys to be aware of it. But the camping aspect is, oh my God, Limavady, Donegal. You brought me to a place called Castle Rock yesterday.
Castle Rock, yeah.
And what was the beach?
The Benone Beach.
And spit and you'll hit a campsite. It's a beautiful small campsite in Castle Rock, but from there you can get the train to Derry
and
to Belfast.
Yep.
So you could park up, do your tourist thing in Derry or Belfast or both, come back. The beach is fantastic. Surfing down that way as well?
Fantastic surfing in Castle Rock and Benone. Surf hire there. Benone's Blue Flag Beach, it's, to my mind, the longest beach in Ireland and the best beach.
It's very similar to Dollymount in Dublin. You can actually drive on it and park on it and spend the day. There are no overnight camping, but there are campsites. I think there's 3 or 4 campsites there. One is actually run by the local county council as well, which is there. So the facilities for camping in Donegal, in Northern Ireland, are fantastic anyway. But more to the point, I was awestruck with the beauty, the nature, the scenery, and I'm not into that stuff, but the campsites, facilities, when they say location for a campsite, minutes from the beach, minutes in Castle Rock, minutes from that beautiful bakery that's down the corner, fast food takeaways, amusements. But the beach, if you're into just relaxing, surfing, kayaking, oh my God. Fishing, yes. So Limavady itself and the surrounds, fantastic. You mentioned a park here close to your house.
It's the Roe Valley Country Park.
Yes, because this is the Roe Valley. Nearly everything. Actually, there's a shop here beside us called after. Everything is about the Roe. And in fact, isn't this the Roe Valley Arts Centre?
Yes, Arts Centre,
So in the Roe Valley, there's a park, and it's a fair few acres, isn't it?
5 miles either side of.
Now, it's not a campsite.
A beautiful salmon fishing river.
Somewhere to come and visit during the summer months. So the plan is, myself and Charlie are going to go in there, have a cup of tea. He's in the camper, ready to come out and meet his public. And then, as I said, throughout the day, I'm going to try and get to the speakers before they speak to get them to introduce themselves. And then we'll take it from there and see how the day goes. And we get a bit of music as well. And that's the plan.
Yep.
Now, this is obviously going next year. And you were saying that community have started working on next year.
I can't say too much, but I would say to people to please keep an eye on our social media sites. We're on Instagram, Facebook. We have our own webpage. And we're hoping to have I'd say A-list celebrity for our Mark Crothers event next year.
Oh, for next year. I would put all the contact details at the end of this. The guys are on Instagram, they're on Facebook, and they have a website. All the details will come up in the titles later on. Paul, thank you very much, sir. Let's go grab a coffee. Let's go grab a dog, grab a coffee, and we'll talk to you guys in a couple of seconds.
Hi, my name is Matt McGinn. I'm a singer-songwriter from Hilltown in County Down. I'm here today at the Steinbeck Festival. I suppose a lot of my songs would be considered to go hand in hand with a lot of what Steinbeck would talk about. I would sing a lot about immigration, a lot about refugees, just basically sort of songs with a little bit of social background and sort of trying to, I suppose, maybe stand up for people whose voices aren't really heard. I suppose I might be maybe the light relief today. A lot of Steinbeck's novels can be a little bit hard to take. So yeah, it's nice to be considered the light relief for the entertainment. But I'm also going to be mixing maybe today a little bit of some Woody Guthrie songs. There's a couple of songs that Bruce Springsteen sings about, Tom Joad and relate to the likes of Steinbeck's novels. So I'm going to maybe just try and mix it up a little bit and I'm going to enjoy myself and probably learn a lot as well.
Hello, my name is Boyd Gray and I'm doing a wee talk here at the Steinbeck Festival. I'm talking on, well, the name of the talk is John Steinbeck and Ulsterman. I'm actually a family historian, so I started off doing some family history of Steinbeck's ancestors here, but I'm going beyond that now and having a look at migration to America, and Steinbeck, and to what extent he was in Ulster, and to what extent he came back here to have a look at his ancestry, to see where he was from, the home place, as he called it, and that's really what I want to look at, to see if he was an Ulsterman or not, or to what extent he was.
Hi there, my name is Howard Caskey. I'm a local optician here in Linnavati. My reason for being at the Steinbeck Festival is that during COVID lockdown, when I had nothing else to do, I decided that I would like to try reading some of Steinbeck's novels. I found them to be really interesting, really great reads, and I ended up reading all of them. So I'm here really to talk about my experience of the novels, and hope to encourage others maybe to try some themselves.
Hello there, my name's Dr. Linda McKeown. I was going to say an expert on Steinbeck, perhaps not, but Steinbeck is one of my favourite novelists, and I'm here today to tell you a bit more about The Grapes of Wrath. Obviously a classic in its day, but obviously has wonderful contemporary resonance in our times of economic migrants. Enjoy the novel, I hope you do, and I look forward to telling you more about it later on this afternoon.
My name's Anne McMaster, and I will be giving an ode to Steinbeck today as part of the Steinbeck Festival in Mavati, and it's talking about Steinbeck's travels with Charlie and using that as a bouncing off point for my own journeys across America. So it's a combination of all sorts of things.
My granddad told a little bighorn where his brothers fought and died. And now my time has come to cross a great divide. Oh, crow, medicine Joe, last of a kind you'll never know. Oh, you'll remember as we go. Oh, crow, medicine Joe.
I should have mentioned that, because I forgot to mention. You've seen Nigel McFarlane taking photographs. You'll also see somebody else creeping about there, and he is Charlie and me. He's a camper vanner who vlogs, and he's all the way up from Cork, so you can give him a wee round of applause there. He recommends and reviews campsites all over Ireland and Europe, but Paul Campbell managed to get him for us, and so he'll be streaming us live. If you want to turn around and take a wee look at him just for a second, please do that.
I'm not creeping around. That sounds so wrong.
The dog's creeping around. That's a big man himself. And when I started to research him for Boogie in the first place, I was a bit disappointed that he should say this here, what he does say in East of Eden, and he's talking about the fictional character, the grandmother, but it's actually obviously based on his grandmother, Eliza Hamilton. And he says, Eliza Hamilton had a dour Presbyterian mind and a code of morals that pinned down and beat the brains out of nearly everything that was pleasant to do. Oh dear. And I would just ask you to consider the origin of my being, he talked about, well, here. Well, the origin was being a dour Presbyterianism or an enterprising and rebellious spirit? I'm not sure.
I'm going to talk for about 30 minutes. I'm going to stick to roughly 30 minutes. 30 minutes about the novels of John Steinbeck. I've gone to the next thing. In 1952, John Steinbeck wrote the following, and I'm going to quote it. He wrote this in our letter to a friend. I finished my book a week ago. It's much the longest and surely the most difficult work I have ever done. I have put all the things I have wanted to write in my life. This is the book. If it is not good, I have fooled myself all the time. I don't mean I will stop, but this is a definite milestone and I feel released. Having done this, I can do anything I want. Always I have this book waiting to be written.
Be waiting for me. sun through the mist splits the last of the oaks that were cut down in stone for the building of boats, and the wings will be dressed in their yellow.